Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a movie review. I haven't done a movie review, and it's been a long time since I've done a movie review. I think the last one I did was Avengers Endgame. I don't even remember at this point. But anyway, we're gonna be reviewing a movie, X-Men: Dark Phoenix, or just Dark Phoenix in general, because because according to the posters, the name X-Men wasn't present in the posters. So I'm just gonna call this movie Dark Phoenix, just like the posters. It says it like the marketing. But anyway, Dark Phoenix. Now before we get into this review, let's talk about the movie. Let's talk about like the movie. Not the movie, but like production and the releasing and all that. So this movie was supposed to be released in November 2018. But I read about it. But I read in an article, about it, and by article I mean Wikipedia, that they had to do some reshoots. And there are a lot of things that happened. They had to do reshoots. The whole Fox and Disney deal. A lot of things prevented this movie from being released back in November 2018. And because of that, Fox had to delay and push back this movie to February 14th. So yeah, this movie they pushed it back to Valentine's Day 2019. So February 14th, 2019 is when this movie should have been released. But again, there were some issues. And Fox delayed it again. They pushed it back to June 7th. June 7th, is it? Yeah. They pushed it back to June 7th. So November to February to June. So yeah, a lot of crazy. So yeah, this movie had a lot of conundrum. Basically had to go through this whole ordeal, this whole circle loops, and it had to like jump through all these hoops and to finally be released. And this, and also New Mutants was supposed to come out last year. It was supposed to come out it was supposed to come out I think April 13th, 2018. Was it 18 or 17? I don't know. I think it was 18. Yeah, okay. I do remember. That movie was supposed to come out April 14th, but they pushed it back to next year. Is next year? I don't know. But anyway, we're not here to talk about New Mutants. We're here to talk about Dark Phoenix. And sorry I don't have like an X-Men T-shirt. Speaking of, and this is something I completely forgot, but let me mention this. This is the first X-Men movie that I'm reviewing on my channel, because I used to review movies on Facebook because I didn't have the YouTube equipment. I still don't have the proper YouTube equipment except my phone and my tablet. I don't want to spend money. I don't want to spend money on more, on a better camera. I like to stick to what I've got. But anyway, this is my first X-Men movie that I'm reviewing on my channel, and I don't think that's a good thing. So let's talk about this movie. And Bryan Singer did not direct. He directed the X-Men movies. Well, the good ones. Him and James Mangold. The good directors, the best directors of the X-Men movies. But anyway, this movie. And sorry, I don't have an X-Men T-shirt. I have a Marvel T-shirt with Wolverine on it, but I don't know what happened to that. Must have been lost I think I lost it in my closet. But anyway, this is the closest thing I got to. At least it's Marvel. At least it's a Marvel T-shirt. But anyway, let's talk about this movie. Before I watched this movie, there were this movie's been getting a lot of negative talks, you know, a lot of negativity to this movie. The trailers came out and they were pretty much lackluster. They didn't have like I didn't when I remember I watched the trailers for this movie, and both the first one and then the second one, and I didn't get a sense of excitement. Like, I wasn't excited, or like the trailers did not get me, you know, did not hype me up. It was very boring. And that's what this movie is. It's extremely boring. Like, according to Wikipedia, and going back to Wikipedia, this, like, critics describe this movie as boring, and that's definitely true. Now, that was my computer. Excuse that part of that, but yeah, that was my computer. But anyway, this movie's been getting a lot of, you know, bad talk, and, you know, I can't really blame the critics. You know, I don't blame the critics. This movie is very boring. Like, there's no humor. Like, there's no jokes. Like, they were like tiny bits, like tiny attempts of humor, but for the most part, this movie takes itself so seriously, so dramatically, and so seriously, to the point where I started to stretch my limbs. Like, I really wanted to get up from my seat and I really wanted to get up from my seat and start stretching my arms and my legs, do some yoga, because that's how bored I was, to the point where I was so tired. To the point where, like, my body was physically tired. I just wanted to, like, get up and move around. But I know, you know, because I'm reviewing, I don't want to, because I'm a critic, I'm a critic, I don't want to miss a single thing. Now, this movie isn't as shit. You know, this movie isn't shit. It's not 100% complete garbage. There were some cool moments. There were a few cool moments here and there, but overall, this movie was just boring. And the villain, played by Jessica Chastain, was so not good. She was not compelling. She was very underdeveloped. Like, her character only wanted Jean Grey. Like, there was no development to her character. There's no motivation. Nothing to her character, to the villain, to her character. The only thing, like, her goal, her mission is just to go after Jean Grey, to go after the Phoenix. That's it. She was so boring. Like, what a terrible villain. What a terrible, superhero villain. And I can't really say I don't know what else to say about this movie, except that Simon Kinberg made, this is his first movie. This is his first movie where he's a director. Usually, Simon Kinberg, he's usually the writer or the producer or both of the X-Men movies. But this is his first movie that he's directing, so this is his big directorial debut. And I gotta say, you know, at least the man tried. He tried to make a compelling and good story. He wrote the script himself, and he directed it. And I gotta say, you know, he tried. You know, I'll give him credit. He did try his best, but unfortunately, you know, because of what critics and fans have said, this movie is not good. This movie is not good at all. Like I said, this movie is so boring. So it's lacking, and because this is the final X-Men movie before the whole, Disney and Fox deal, this is such a disappointing way to conclude this cast, this universe, this franchise of the X-Men, this X-Men franchise. Because after this movie, after this movie, this is when Disney is going to start taking control. Speaking of Disney, they started, after the deal, they distributed this movie. They distributed this movie, so them and Fox, but but anyway, I just wanted, Simon, he did try, but if I gotta be completely honest with you, I wanted Bryan Singer to come back to this movie. I just want Bryan Singer himself. I want the man himself to make the Dark Phoenix. He didn't get it the first time. Like, he directed the first two X-Men movies, X-Men and then X-Men United, but he didn't make X-Men: The Last Stand. Instead, he made Superman Return, which is so boring. Speaking of boring, that movie was very boring, and that was a mistake. He didn't get a chance to make the Dark Phoenix movie, and but this time he was about to he was about to make it, but following if you haven't heard about it, there was some sexual abuse allegations going on against Bryan, and because of that, I believe because of that reason, he did not come back to direct this movie, which sucks, because unless Bryan comes back, for after this whole Disney deal, I hope he comes back. I really want him to make his own Dark Phoenix movie, because he didn't get it the first time and made Superman Returns. That movie sucked, and he didn't get it the second time. Instead, he passed it along to Simon Kinberg. But anyway, that's all I have to say about Dark Phoenix. Such a boring movie, but it's not. But don't get me wrong, it's not complete shit. It's not complete garbage. This movie isn't complete garbage, like 100% from start to finish. Like I said, there were few. If I'm being I'm being honest with you. There are few moments. There are few cool moments sprinkled here and there, but overall, it was very boring. The villain was not great, and just had one goal to go after Jean Grey. That's it. No motivation behind her, the villain, nothing. The villain was terrible. The movie was boring. Had a few cool moments, and of course, the acting, the performances, of course, it's great. James McAvoy, who he did Split. He did Split, which came out, which I watched, and I really did enjoy that. I really did enjoy that movie, and he came back for Glass, and then Michael Fassbender. The praise, they will always be praised. They will always be the great, them and Sir Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen. They will always be the best. All the four of them. The four of them will always be the best Xaviers and the best Magneto. And that's really all I have to say about this movie. An X-Men movie is not great if it doesn't have a great Quicksilver scene. Yeah, this movie. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, spoiler alert. I guess this movie doesn't have a Quicksilver scene. But anyway, and going back to the whole ratings and reviewing, from now on, if I'm reviewing a movie, I will not give a movie a grade or a grade if I don't have one. Like, if I can't, if let's say I'm reviewing a movie and I can't think of a grade, then I won't grade the movie. I'll just leave it. I'll just end the video. But if I have come up with a grade, then I'll grade it. And that's exactly what I'm about to do. If I have to give this movie a grade, I give it a D. I give this movie a D. Like I said, it's the performances, despite the boring script, despite the boring dialogue and the script and all that, despite that, there were some cool moments, cool action scenes, but overall, yeah, this movie is a disappointing way to end the X-Men, the Fox's X-Men franchise. Because after this, like I said, Disney. So from now on, Disney, after New Mutants, then Disney is going to start taking control of the X-Men characters. But when it comes to this cast, this is such a disappointing way to end it. But anyway, that's my review. Like I said, this movie gets a D for me. And now that I'm thinking about it, I will review the X-Men movies, all of them, the X-Men movies. But I have to put that on my schedule. But I have to put it on my schedule when I have the time. But anyway, that's it, and I'll see you in my next video.